the Empire State Building.
Garrett Vogel, the Elvis Duran Morning Show. Gentlemen, watching the first handful of episodes, I don't know where to sit. Do I hate everybody? Do I love everybody? Do I leave my heart open to welcome people? I mean, getting to see it yourselves, where do you guys stand based off of the first handful of episodes?
Well, I mean, you know, I co-created with Taylor Sheridan, so I love it. This is a dream come true. This took 10 years. We had this first script 10 years ago, and it's taken till now to make it. And then to work with the level of skill, Toby and Jeremy Renner and Diane Wiest. Are you kidding me? This is, if you have a dream and you can persevere, and to see it come to fruition like this is, I see nothing but great characters.
Now, Hugh, for you too, you said, you know, it took 10 years. Was it 10 years of creating the story, or was it that you had the story, it was just those weren't open to you know, welcome to the idea of
Taylor Sheridan is a force of nature. He was my acting coach. We were both broke actors in LA, and I would sometimes go, do I buy dinner or do I pay Taylor and go and get him to coach me on an audition I don't really want to go on? And what was great about him was he'd go, well, what do you want to do? What story do you want to tell? And I'm from a town that had 9 penitentiaries. My mom was a teacher. My friends, folks were guards. I had other friends, folks were convicts. And Taylor and I would fall into this hyper focused realm of this guy. Taylor Sheridan could deconstruct a world, a character, the emotional beats, and he would ask me questions. We'd get into it. So 10 years ago, to answer your question, we had our first script. And then we had a couple more, and we'd get into it. And then I was working on a show called Flashpoint, which Taylor coached me on every episode. And he got Sicario, and then he said, dude, I got Wind River. You're going to meet Jeremy Renner. I want you on this. And because he sets you up for success. He does it. He did it for me to be a producer on this show and to act. And then he hired me on Yellowstone, and he is able to make you feel like you can do it. And so right. he on the page, he's there is no one better. He is the American voice. And
his ears are burning right now as we speak. I mean,
yeah. And the thing is Toby can answer this. It's like, when you read the scripts, you know it's there. So he creates one world on the page, but then he creates this whole family on stage where, you know, us as where we feel he sets us up for success. We want everybody, we encourage each other. We want us to, you know, he just has this, he's just an incredible creative force, and he makes other creative people. And you know, he can get Toby to come in. He can get Jeremy Renner. He can get Diane Wiest because of the material. But once they're there, they elevate the material to this. You know, they just blow the roof off the place.
Now, Toby,
can I?
Yeah,
go on. Go on. No, I was just going to add to that. There's a certain level of there's a certain level of person that or leadership that is required in order to have that environment, right? You need somebody who not only knows they know what they want, but they also know how to get it. And that kind of puts everybody at ease, because now all that's left to do is just to put your all into it. And that's the environment I found myself in on set, with Hugh, with Taylor, with the crew, with all of the ADs, the costume and things like that, right? So yeah, it was just one of those environments where, to be honest with you, it was a dream come true. Like right. As Hugh was saying, you know, it was just perfect environment for creativity.
And you, Toby, you have that knack, which I just wish. I mean, I could not pull off a British accent to save my life. But for some way, every actor can pull off that American accent and make it sound almost like you've lived here forever. But if you ask me to do it the opposite way, I will just embarrass myself and the entire country. So Toby, for you, what was the pitch? Was it just a simple elevator pitch to join Mayor of Kingstown, or was it, getting to sit down with that first script and going sold?
It was a one shot in the dark. That's all it was. Like I had a friend who had gone up for it, and he told me, because he didn't feel like he wasn't a heavy set man, you know, so he didn't feel like he could bring the physicality to the character. But he told me about it, and he told me to get my agent on it, right? My agent was already on it. Shout outs to Alice. She was already on it, right? And as soon as it came in, I was just, I was in love with it. It's the reason I was in love with it, though, was it was the depth in the conversation. I think I only had about maybe 3 scenes to audition, but the level of depth in those, in the sides were like this big, like the dialogue was like this big, but there was so much in there that just, it forced me to use my brain.
Right.
And when I do that, it just it brings it brings me satisfaction. That's all I can say, you know, because now I'm looking at something that is, it could look like one way, but in actuality, it's something completely different. And you have to really observe what it is that you're looking at. And I think if you can have that, if you can bring that on a page, you can only imagine what it's going to look like on screen. That's how, and that was what got me.
And watching the first few episodes, like, you know, not to say it's exactly, but it has that feeling of watching Sopranos, where you know everybody has that.
They're ruthless.
Yeah, exactly. But there's some good in there, but the good is also bad. And, you know, I had that feeling walking away from it too. And obviously the series is over. And on a serious note, Hugh, especially for you going forward, season 2, 3, 4, many, do you look at how you approach scenes involving weapons now going forward?
All of it. And you're absolutely right. And, you know, I will say that we're very lucky. We shot it in Toronto. We had an armorer named Charlie Taylor, who I had shot a show called Flashpoint. It was on CBS in the States, and we shot it in Toronto. And it's on Paramount Plus now. And it is a SWAT unit. It was 5 years, guns in every single episode. And we had this armorer, Charlie Taylor, and he just, you know, was no nonsense. Every gun was cleared. It's a tragedy, but from where we stood, and Toby can attest to that. I mean, for me, this is a lifelong dream, and to be able to come back to Canada to shoot in the prison, and to use some of the folks that I had worked with and could vouch for. And I had, you know, it's such a tricky thing to work with guns. It's dangerous. Safety is first, always. And I just was, and Toby, you know, we were lucky to have Charlie. I'd worked with him for so many years. I trust him, and he's just an exceptional armorer. He's worked on everything.
Consummate professional, I would say. I'm a stickler for the correct way of doing things, because there's less room for error in that sense. I get a little bit pedantic when it comes to things like that. So especially if I'm learning a new skill, it's just something that I've grown up with. So with that, I felt very at ease on set, because,
of course,
you know, I know that, okay, at least I know that this guy knows what he's doing and stuff like that. And not just that, I'm also asking questions as to, you know, is this how it's done properly? Because I'm the one who is ignorant in this sense. I don't know too much about it, right? So I have to kind of have my eyes open and stuff in order to avoid any mishaps. And I just wanted to say, my heart goes out to the, you know.
It's just
of course.
Tragedy.
No, of course. And fellas, I'm getting a sign here, but I appreciate the time. Honestly, I was riveted by the first 2 episodes. Looking forward to many more, and congratulations on a very successful start to a great series, hopefully, for you guys.
Thank you.
All right, so Jeremy, getting to watch the first 2 episodes, I want to see if you felt the same way. Do you figure out your character is good, bad, somewhere in the middle?
I think everybody's swimming in a lot of colors of gray here. But yeah, good. I think he's a pretty selfless guy, and yeah, he has to do some of the hard work and heavy lifting for sure, than do stuff that people don't want to do. So yeah, I think he's a good guy for sure.
And watching it too, I had those vibes of The Sopranos, where everybody has the bad side to them, but there's that hint of good in everybody across the board too. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Exactly. I think there's a hint of bad in him, but I think he's mostly good for sure.
now filming too. I mean, is it more like filming a movie for a series where you just go straight through, or is it you stop down and for as the normal TV shows go in filming?
Yeah, this is shot like a 10-hour film. And then the episodes are just more like act breaks in the writing of a 10-hour movie, if you will. So it's a continuous thing. And I think it allows for a lot more character development in this long form of storytelling.
Yeah, you could see it too as you watch. You're like, I want to see what happens here. So, and obviously, only got 2 episodes in. Now, for me too, I don't know where you fall on this, but watching movies and you turn them on TV, whatever, you always land on that same scene of the same movie. For me, it's always the graveyard scene from The Town where you and Ben are outside. Every time I turn on the TV, it's that scene. It's almost cursing. It's like following me wherever, to the point where I got to go to Boston for the first time, and I woke up after traveling from New York. You know where I landed? In front of that graveyard too. So I'm telling you, it's following me wherever I go. So I felt like now is the time to, maybe this breaks the curse by talking to you.
There you go.
All right. You also have Hawkeye too. I mean, can you sum that up? Working with Haley Steinfeld, what do we have to look forward to with that as well? Because everybody was excited to see the poster.
Yeah, I mean it's really kind of become quite a holiday event for the holiday season. It's always knew it was kind of that vibe, but it really kind of feels like a big fun holiday sort of event, and that's what I'm really excited to do and be able to watch with my daughter. And it's nice to have juxtaposed Mayor of Kingstown, which is going to land super exhilarating and heavier and more introspective and thoughtful and feeling in a different way, right? Just that's a different audience.
Right, exactly. It's like you're on both ends of it too. You get the intense and you get the family friendly too. And I mean, I'm sure your daughter was just begging to meet Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah, exactly. She did. She was awesome.
Now,
I think it's cool.
With both projects too, with the Mayor of Kingstown and Hawkeye too. I mean, do you see the trend, the interweaving of series to film to series, and kind of just a constant nonstop cycle of going back and forth between the two mediums?
Yeah, I mean, it was nothing different outside. It was just more to do because they're doing in the Hawkeye.
Well, going forward in the storytelling, like down the road.
Yeah. I mean, I think those can continue and will continue in those formats in the longer form. Yeah.
Now going forward with the Mayor of Kingstown, hearing that it took 10 years to create too, and then seeing a show like the Squid Games taking 10 years, do you have that passion project that you've been working on, and seeing all these stories come out about how people are now getting that chance for you yourself to be like, you know what, I'm gonna finally pitch this idea that I've had, or go forward with this movie that I've written and been holding on to?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like there are some, but I've been so busy.
Really? What are you doing? Like, what do you got going on?
I could really think about, it was just nice to sleep in my own bed after a year. So yeah, I can have passions about projects 10 years ago, but I have more passion about like going to sleep in my own bed, right now. And then, I'll look forward down the road. But right now I'm just focusing on these 2 shows and being back home finally after a year. So I'm just happy about that.
Now, hopefully this breaks the curse. I hope to update you next time, The Town does come on, because it's that movie for me where I get sucked in and I just have to sit there no matter what I'm doing. I mean, literally, I couldn't miss a wedding, and I have to sit down and finish watching The Town no matter what. So I hope to update you when we're talking about season 2, season 3, season 4 of pretty much every project you're associated with right now. So I congratulate you, Jeremy, and I appreciate your time, sir.
Hey, thank you so much, sir.
Talk to you soon.
From the top of the Empire State Building.
Z100.